Hey everybody, it's Steve with Sky194, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to visit and check out my video. And we are here at Circuit Paul Ricard, and I noticed that my my setup for the Aston Martin for Paul Ricard here is, a little old on the dated side, a little over a year old, and I make some improvements. So I think I really improved upon the setup, the feel, the drivability of it, and also the consistency of it. So I really think a decent improvement all the way around. And of course, there's no drafting. I'm by myself here, so doing a hot stint. So again, you take that into consideration because obviously with drafting you can make a pretty big difference here at Paul Ricard. But I'm still really happy with how it performed. Really good times for me. And again, I'm gonna we'll go over the lap, and again, do an in-car different views, but we'll also go over the setup at the end, and then I'll leave a link to the setup in the description. And of course, I also have a PayPal link in the description also if you want to help support the channel. And thank you to everybody out there that has, no matter the amount. I really appreciate it. Thank you so very much. And basically, we'll just start right here behind. And again, this is just how I do it. I mean, there's many good ways of doing it. This is just how I do it, and just help anybody. Maybe you can pick up something that'll help you as far as a line to go through, or a brake marker or things like that. So we'll go ahead and get started. And here at the Aston Martin, I mean, you can carry 5th all the way through, but if you get a really good drive, you can do 6th, which gives you a little bit more speed. And basically here, I'm right when I'm passing the 100, I'm on the brakes. And I try to run right up next to the cones to give me just a little bit more of an angle to come in. And you want to be right at the 100. Now, again, this is after your tires are warm. I might brake a little earlier than that when the tires are cold. But, I mean, this is after your tires are obviously up to temperature. But I want to do that because I want to get a late apex in here. I do not want to brake apex this early because you can get it out of bounds. Plus, you lose time anyway because you want to be set up for the next corner. Again, this is definitely connect the dots and momentum. So you will stay out here, come back, and again, that's just about perfect. You can barely touch these, yellow sausages. It's okay, but if you run over them too much, you get out of bounds. So basically, you can see the white line right there. It's probably about what it is because you can run over the white line, but if you get over that, you get out of bounds. So again, you want to stay to the left so you can be going back to the right and get a nice drive down that straightaway. And again, these curbs don't look bad, but they can really upset your car. So again, I try not to get all over this one. Touching it's okay, but I try not to get on it too much. And also be careful running too wide coming off because you'll get an out of bounds there. Right there. It's just a good passing zone if you get a really good drive. I've done, pass people through here. And of course, right here at the 100, at the line here, the 100, as I'm passing it, I'm actually on the brakes. So I'm right up, all the way up to it. And again, I'll run into the blue here a little bit so I can get a good angle on this also. Because you want to cut it pretty close, just like that. Because I'm wanting to stay to the right here so I can cut it back close this way. So again, you're setting up for each, coming off to set up for the next turn. So again, with this, I want to stay here on this curb. I don't want to get all the way over that. I don't want to be past this grading right here. It gets bumpy. It throws the car around, and there's just no need to. You really, on top of the curb, right here, this little piece right here, that's where you want to stay. It's nice and smooth, and it lines you up just right. So then you're way over here to the left. And of course, obviously, if you're defending, that's different. This is just my optimal line. So obviously, if you're defending against somebody, you have to change. But this is where I go if I'm not worrying about that. So again, I'm here to the left so I can get a nice cut and get a good drive. And of course, I try to stay close, but don't get on the curb. You can run a little wide, stay on the gas. I try to, I don't have to go all the way on this curbing over here. I stay about in the middle to maybe, this is about as far over as I go. Cut it across. Again, I just slowly work my way towards that. So, I mean, you know, anything else is wasted energy. So basically, I just try to slowly work my way over to all the way to the left. And basically, when this past the 100 and right here when it's changing color, you know, when it turns to the pink curbing, then I basically downshift. I'm on the brakes, and then downshift to 5th, and then go through here. And again, you know, run this pretty close. Be careful not to run over. Right up next to that, and then here, basically, it's when this. I don't look over here because you can't really judge it too good. But I look over here when I'm looking at this, where the curbing is changing, and the pole here to the right. So that's how I'm judging it, where I'm hitting the brakes. Now here, that's just about perfect as far as running over this. I try not to hit this too much. That's about skimming it right along on top of the curbing is about all you want. If you run any deeper, it'll upset the car, and you know it could mess you up going through here. So again, you know, run a little wide, and of course I downshift a second about halfway through, and then try to cut through to get a nice little drive going through here. But don't run over this. About, again, half of this curbing here is okay. You run over that and you'll get an out of bounds. So again, you can get a lot of out of bounds here pretty easily because you know you're just as high speed and you're really pushing hard, and it's pretty flat. So you got to watch how far you're running over these curbings. And then run over here. Basically, I'm looking at this last cone, or if somebody's knocked it off for some reason, just basically the end right here, this corner. That's my brake marker. And basically, I try to brake and brake straight. Maybe turn in a teeny bit, but basically it's going straight. And you want to go in a little deeper because you want to be able to late apex this and come back, because this curb here is awful. It's really high, and it doesn't do any good to run over it. So I try to brake late enough where I'm past it and then come back and get a nice drive down this next straightaway. Like that. And see how you're coming back? Because this is a crazy angled curve, but I don't want to get on this at all. So I basically just want to run right up next to it. And sometimes if you brake too early, maybe just a teeny bit too early or something, what you can do is feed in some gas and let the car, it'll push the car out and drift it out wide. So you'll, with steering corrections, you'll still miss it. And that way you can still come off of here really good. And then go by here. And come through here. Basically, it's where that changes color to blue. Right up to that and before this little bend. See, there's a little bend right here. You can see better when you're in the car. Basically, between those two is I'm on the brakes. Of course, I downshift a second. I'm kind of hugging this a little bit. But that actually, usually I like to be a little bit wider and come back in, but that's okay. A little bit over more than I want to be. So I actually could have gained a little, probably another 10th there. Let's see what we do on this next. We jump in the car. And that was a 155.78. Again, for me, isn't real bad for fuel. You know, basically, I got started with 80 liters, and you know, no drafting. That's not real bad. Car is balanced really well. I mean, of course, that's why the Aston Martin is such a good car. I mean, it has good speed. It's balanced really well. Basically, with very minimal wing. I mean, I only got a mile an hour more. So, I mean, but I lost everywhere else. So that's why I actually went with one more click on the wing. Probably a little better than the last one. See, I like to come right next to that. I'm gonna run over that curb a little bit. See, that's better than that. See, that's where I need to be, is there, not where I was the last lap, and actually was probably where I gained some time. That was a 1:55.57. That was my fast lap. So again, I'm really happy with that, and we'll just go over the last lap. And of course, this is after 30 minutes. That's a 1:56.49, which I think I made a couple mistakes there. It's probably one of my slow laps. The car was very composed. Like I say, as far as being driver friendly, it was very driver friendly. Got it from this way. It's 173. That's good speed. Very nice and flat. Amazing. For 30 minutes, it looks very composed to me. Not doing a lot of steering corrections and things like that. So I hit that a little bit. That was kind of a mistake. Again, I try to stay away from that thing. Probably didn't go in deep enough on the brakes. I was trying not to overdrive it. And that was a 1:55.98. So again, that's a pretty decent. That's decent for me for being after at the end of 30 minutes with no drafting. Of course, I still had 30 liters left, but I started with 80 like I always do. So let's go ahead and go over the setup. Well, let's look at the timetables. So I always do that. I had no outs, so I was really happy with that. And as you can see, yeah, that was like my slowest lap, 56.49. So, I mean, basically lots of 55s, mostly 55s. I had a couple mess ups, but mainly it was, all 56.0, but 56.2, 56.1, 56.1, 55, a lot of some 56s, but a lot of low 56s. So again, I was really happy with that. Like I said, especially with no drafting. And if you put this here up to this, I mean, this, which I had in my Delta, it would have been like a 55.40 or something. So that would have been, really good for not drafting and stuff. So let's go over the setup. And we got 25.6 left front, 25.9 left rear, 26.9 right front, and 26.7 right rear. The toe is negative 0.02 with the camber at negative 3.2 on the left front and negative 3.4 on the right front. The caster's at 13.4. And then the rear, the toe is 0.05 with the camber at negative 3 on the left rear and negative 3.1 on the right rear. Electronics are 2, 4, and 3. Fuel, I had 80 liters, of course, with the #1 brake pad. He had light graining there, moderate on the right front, and I know that's probably from that double right. Again, a lot of times you lock up the right front when you're going through that double, when you go through that double right. So that's probably some of that graining is from that. But still, I was still running a 55.98 the last lap, so I'm not really concerned about it. The wear is not terrible. I'm always looking for better, but you know, it's so hard because the left side takes such abuse, especially this left front. So everything looks good. Mechanical got 6 on the anti-roll bar, 62 on the brake bias, and I did turn it down to 61 you know, near the end, and it was fine. It worked good. Steering ratio's turned all the way down. The springs are 165,000 in the front with a 900 bump stop rate and a 3 bump stop range on the left and a 6 bump stop range on the right. And then on the rear, the springs are 155,000 with a bump stop rate of 700 and the bump stop range of 20 on the left rear and 40 on the right rear. Any roll bar is 4 and the preload on the diff is 50. The shocks are 18, 15, 22, and 25 on the front, and 16, 13, 20, and 22 on the rear. Aero, I have 56 in the front, 62 in the rear, with a 2 rear wing and a 2 and a 2 and a brake ducts, and the front aero variation is a 3.7 to the positive. Now, I did try this combination here with 1 rear wing and down to 60, and everything else was the same, and I gained 1 mile an hour down the backstretch. That was it, but I also started losing some time during the rest of the rest, so I really don't think that for a race stint, you know, you could probably trade this for qualifying, it might be all right, but for a race stint, I just don't think it was well balanced enough to do it. So I preferred that way because I like to attack all the corners and things. So that's what I went with. I sure hope you enjoy it. I hope it works good for you. And I hope you give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And, of course, like I said, there'll be a link to this in the description. My email is also in the description also. And I sure hope you give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And I hope you come back really soon. Y'all take care. See ya.